Greetings, everybody that may come across this video, this upload. I just wanted to get on here and do a quick live video because it's easier. Um, I found that sometimes just uh, sharing what's on my mind this way is a lot easier. Um, I was trying to figure out why is it that sometimes I feel as though my messages or what I'm trying to share and explain, it's not really being conveyed as smoothly or as clearly as I would like for it to be. And I've come to the conclusion that it's probably because I'm a little bit camera shy. Um, I'm not really expecting people to come on this live or join in. I will be absolutely surprised as I understand that people are celebrating Independence Day either through complete ignorance or oblivion, complacency, um, just the inebriated state. The supplementing medicating state traditions, as people would say. But the way that I feel about it is when you know better, you do better. And that's something um, that I feel that people should absolutely practice. When you know better, you do better. And I say that because people are excited, and I'm not the type of person that want to rain on people parade. But if I'm being absolutely honest, people want to have fun, people want to enjoy, but a lot of people aren't even fully aware and have knowledge of what it is that they're celebrating. Now, some will say, hold on, Queen Bree, pump the brakes, because this is a collective effort, and we're celebrating as a nation and a country, and we're celebrating in solidarity and these things. But behind all of these things that we have been entrained and that we have been programmed and that we have been traditionally hypnotized to celebrate is not our thing. I'm talking to the people that I'm speaking to the people who look like me or of my or of my ethnicity, if you will. So, in all honesty, what are we celebrating? So, what is this video about? The question that I'm asking, I'm wondering, what are we all celebrating? Because again, I want to offer again that when you know better, you do better, right? So, people were real quiet on June 19th, and me personally, I was offended by it. Um, but here we are, and I understand. I don't want to make it seem like I'm oblivious to the holiday. I've been celebrating this holiday my whole life, minus about, I want to say, 7 to 8 years. The only purpose that I'm really getting, the only purpose that I'm actually being in the attendance is for the sake of family and friends, and communing with those that are like-minded and like-spirited, who mean the world to me, who I love so much. That's the thing that is the determining factor for me, is when I can actually be around people that I love and people that make me feel good. And that will be in the name of love and in the name of family. Anything besides that, I'm just not doing it, because why would I shit on my ancestors or say, you know, um, I am aware of, what has taken place, and the problems and the issues that we have to present day time, and then turn around and say, I don't care. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spend my money. I'm going to patronize this holiday, and I'm going to say forget about all of the effort and the bloodshed, sweat, and tears that my ancestors put in, just so that we can go ahead and celebrate people who were absolutely uh, on the people who were a part of the problem, right? Without getting too extreme, without being too extreme about it. Um, people, there is just so many issues that we have in our community, and is the reason why a lot of us feel as though we are obligated, or we feel so at ease, or we feel so excited and so eager to go out to patronize these holidays and to spend our money with these people who really don't care about us. They're not doing anything to uplift our communities. They're not doing anything to make sure that our babies are good. I mean, you know, it may be, breadcrumbs where they'll do little things here and there, but then at at what price are we paying for the little things that they do? For example, when a mother has a child or children, and or she wants to get housing, or she wants to get benefits, and then they say, hey, we'll give you these benefits as long as your man doesn't live in the house. So you pay a hefty price, because generationally that breaks down the family structure. It puts a generational curse on the family structure when you're always depending on another system, or some people who wants to play daddy to you, who's not actually playing the active father in the home. Is breaking down the family structure and the family system, right? Totally breaking down the family structure, but then the power that the man would have in the household, or more specifically, what I'm more specifically talking about right now is the brother. So we give you these benefits. Okay, so for the people who get, like, uh food food benefits and things, well, we're doing giving this little bit or whatever, but it's all breadcrumbs, because when we look at the bigger painting, if you will, as far as all of the things that are going on a collective level, from the top to the bottom in this system, there are people who built a system that we already are aware of, that was built on total atrocities, and is the reason why they can stay in their positions of power, and why they can live comfortably, and I mean complete comfort, because they don't have any worries. All they have to do is continue to rape and pillage and to commit atrocities to stay in a position of power, right? War to get what you want, force to get what you want, take to get what you want. And then you can sleep peacefully at night, because whoever their enemy is, who they feel is weaker, they're going to say, what are you going to do? So on, a planetary or global level, all the way down to a communal level, on a level of community. So people are being breadcrumbed and getting little bits and benefits here and there. And then they're saying, hey, yeah, I appreciate that. And these certain entities of people, they love us, they care about us. But no, there's people that are in, positions of power, who we may never ever come in contact with. And then, on different levels, who are definitely, controlling things. So then there is the situation where people are okay with becoming inebriated, and consistently becoming inebriated, or being buzzed, and turning up and having fun, because the problem is everybody wants to have fun, and they want to feel good, and it doesn't feel good when you have to deal with whatever it is that you have going on, even on a holiday, because the holidays, we know as American people that any holiday is just another excuse for people to turn up, and for people to celebrate. But again, for people to turn up, and my definition of turn up, because you can turn up on so many different levels, in so many different ways. But what I mean is turn up and drink. So every day that ends in Y is an excuse for people to turn up, or drink, or get inebriated, and get intoxicated, and get buzzed, or whatever. Or even if it's not every day that ends in Y, then it's, on every holiday. It's just another excuse for people to turn up. So I know some people will say, oh, yeah, well, that's why people are lonely, or that's why they're not happy, because they're not doing the things that make them happy. And like I said, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, and I don't want to rain on anybody's parade, but I think that there's a lot of conversations that need to be had, and there's a lot of things that need to be said, but not just people coming out of their mouth and coming out of their face and saying things, but actually standing on something. That's my message in this time. What are people standing on? Because, as it is, our people, we're making progress, but it's like we take 10 steps forward and get pushed 10 steps backwards because people are not taking the necessary steps and then being consistent with that. Or they'll let our leaders and our ancestors do the work, and they have done the things to get things done, but then it's like in our generation, people want to be lazy and they want things handed to them. They don't want to do the work. They don't want to do the hard work that our ancestors. How you doing, brother? You resonate with the message. I appreciate that. You too. They don't want to do the work of our ancestors, but will be quick to say, "Oh, we're not our ancestors." You damn right, and don't ever disrespect our ancestors. Oh, we're not our ancestors. No, we're not. A lot of us aren't our ancestors, because if we were, a lot of things that are taking place are they wouldn't be happening. And then the only reason why they are happening is because the people who are in these positions of power, they know that they can get away with it. When people know that they could get away with certain things and they view people as a weak link, then they make them an easy target and they target those people, and then they war with those people, and then they continue to use their tactics and strategies to try to keep them in the position that they want them in, right? So that they can, ultimately win the battle and the war. That's what's going on. These same people talking about we're not our ancestors, da 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 da. And I'm just like, why? Because you can get mad and you can pretend like, you really about that life, but, are not intelligent enough and strategic enough to be able to use certain measures to counteract the things that certain people would do to try to war with us or to keep our people down. So anyway, I went on a big spiel about really trying to ask the question, what are we celebrating, right? Because people were real quiet on June 19th. And I think that it's really sad, the programming, right? On a lighter note, I have to say that I'm very thank you for the compliments, for those that are sending me love and compliments. I appreciate you guys. I have to say that, let me not forget, excuse me, the powerful people in our communities and in the world who have done so many things, so many powerful things on our behalf to make changes. And those people who are doing some real powerful things in our communities is very inspiring, is very encouraging, is very motivating. Not today, say, it's very motivating. So I can't undermine or discredit the powerful people in our communities. They say that we stand on the backs of our ancestors. Well, some of us, depending on if those people are still alive, a lot of those people in our communities, we standing on their backs, and we're on their backs as spirit as well. It's very much inspirational, and we don't need or want for their efforts to go unnoticed. So let me not discredit or undermine those in our community, because we have some real powerful people in our communities, for real. I'm just asking, what's the turn up for? Because we shouldn't be. What are we celebrating? We could celebrate the small wins on any really given day, but what I'm saying, what are we celebrating on a day that's celebrating the liberation of a people who are not us? This country is not free. Um, People, the whole medicating and want to turn up because I want to feel good, I want to have fun. There's a time and a place for fun, right? If we were going to be turning up and we were going to be having fun and all of these things, we should have, our people, I'm speaking to my folks, right? The people that look like me, we should have been doing that on Juneteenth, but everybody was quiet as a church house mouse, and I was offended by it. Okay, so I definitely wanted to talk about this holiday. Aside from the whole holiday things and the festivities, for those of you guys who are going to be, and no matter who you are, right? If you're going to be engaging and you're going to be getting out and you're going to be having fun, I just want to tell you, be safe, be responsible, okay? Because we know that substances and other certain extracurricular activities or whatever, it just doesn't go together, and a lot of times bad things happen, right? Remember that there's children at play. Remember about the little explosives and the fireworks and all those things. Like I said, I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, but sometimes we just really have to slow it down and pump the brakes because there's too much going on. And then, when there's a consistent war going on, someone always wants to one up you, or they always want you to feel like we're here and we have this power. So what you talking about and what you doing, right? That's what the system is based on. It's based on control. It's based on a lust for control. It's based on a lust for power, right? And this enemy and that energy and this demon is just so lustful, but it has this deep craving, because people don't try to flex power and control unless they feel as though they losing a grip or they feel as though they need to flex their muscles. So let's keep that, let me keep that totally 100, right? If a person does not feel as though there is a threat, they do not bother, right? I just had to put that out there. Um, but with the using of substances, people gonna be getting buzzed. People gonna be out here having fun with their friends, their family, their children, and things. And then there's the fun. But as I would tell the children, as I tell my kid or the children that I love, excuse me, if people aren't if people aren't safe, then it's not fun, right? So that's just what I'm reminding people as I'm sitting here watching people buy fireworks and things. And the thought keeps coming back to mind because I was there and I was celebrating on this holiday, and it's just like, dang, I don't want to be the Debbie Downer, but I'm not talking to everybody. I'm talking to my people. I wanted to address the topic of Trick Daddy and the whole Young Miami situation and India.Arie. I don't jump on every headline and topic that everybody be talking about because of course, again, like I say, I'm kind of camera shy. That doesn't mean no self-confidence or low self-esteem or whatever. That just means that I have a higher level of self-consciousness, and I may be a little bit self-conscious about certain things. So I'm always, trying to make sure everything's good, but then kind of like the confessions of a perfectionist in a way. So that's a secret, and I want to share that as well. I might be a bit of a perfectionist in a way. So yeah, I'm kind of camera shy in some little different ways, and that's why, besides the fact that I'm a very busy woman, is one of the reasons why I wanted to make a quick video yesterday. But if I would have made a quick video yesterday, it just wouldn't have been, it wouldn't have came out right. And then of course I was just too busy. But I saw a video of Trick Daddy, and I just feel like, Trick Daddy is straight trash. The disrespect is just really beyond me. I don't understand how someone could be so despicable and so nasty and so disgusting to a woman of high esteem, and a woman, our sister India.Arie, who is very she's very respected in our community. So one thing that I noticed about people who glamorize and glorify things that are considered, the lowest of the lowest type of character ways, character traits, or things that I things that I equate to being what's the word that I'm looking for? Like the degenerates of a community or a race, right? When they uphold those ways and those character traits, right, and those certain behaviors, it's because they are 9 times out of 10, they have some type of investment in that, and they actually are reaping the benefits of that. So if I have an investment in something, right, if I'm invested in something, deeply invested in something, and somebody tries to mess with it, or somebody tries to compromise it, or somebody tries to taint it or destroy it or sabotage it in any kind of way, then I'm going to be upset about it, right? I'm not going to like that. I'm going to be, offended by it, and I might make a video coming out of my mouth being real nasty and disgusting. And I'm only saying I, meaning someone. I'm not that low of a person to get on a video and to call people out of their names. You know what I mean? For Trick Daddy to talk about, I mean, just going off at the mouth, talking about the sisters and things, and I'm just like, wow, he's talking about I don't want none of y'all old whoop wop, and I'm like, oh, what? Because I could have swore that you was in the age range of what you're talking about, these old women. And if you're talking about them, then you got to be talking about yourself, because I mean, come on, man, aren't you like 50 something? But then on top of that, it's like you sitting here roasting, you trying to roast the sisters and roast women, and it's like, bro, you got a whole crater face, bro. Like, I don't know what you got going on. Seriously, like, really, I just think that it's a really bad look. If you want to continue to support somebody like Young Miami, who's just one of the trash individuals in the industry, fine. But why completely berate a sister of a high esteem? India Ari is very respected in our community. And then Trick Daddy had the audacity to say that Miami, leave her alone. How you doing? Leave her alone. She's doing positive things in the community, and she's doing positive things in the community. She's trying to get a bag, or she's trying to do this, and y'all, why y'all want to get on the internet? Y'all want to talk about these girls, these young girls, they trying to do a positive thing, and they doing something positive, and you old broads, y'all done missed y'all time or whatever. So I mean, just saying a whole lot of nothing, a whole lot of shit that does not make sense. So what I would love to know, when I was listening to the video a couple days ago, I was trying to figure out. Well, I couldn't even listen to the whole thing, because I was like, listening to him, I'm like, you know how I'm pretty sure some of you guys may do this. You listen to a video and you might be like ad-libbing or like saying something out loud to the video, like you want to give your feedback or whatever, or you like saying something out loud as a rebuttal to what you're hearing. I don't know, maybe it's just me. I probably should have been a lawyer. But I was thinking to myself, I'm like, it's people like him who are a problem with the culture and the community. You're saying that this girl, you're encouraging her behavior, her bad, nasty, trifling, degenerative behavior, talking about she's doing something positive. So please let me know, what is Young Miami doing that's positive? I'm trying to figure it out. Before I continue, let me see if I can catch up on what y'all talking about. Say, wait. Bella, I needed that laugh. That is so funny. Oh my God. That is too funny. That is hilarious. Okay. Bella Triple B S5T. Are you still on here? Because I needed that laugh, but I gotta get it out, and I'm gonna tell you why it's so funny what you commented. Let me see. Are you still on here? This is hilarious. Okay. Bella, excuse me. Lord have mercy. It's warm and it's humid out here. But Bella BBB says, say, oi, 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 boca. Okay. So I know boca, I know a little bit of Spanish. So I know boca means, boca in Spanish means cow. And it says, say, oi, oi, oi. And so I have some Latinos in my family, and I grew up around Latinos too. And I know that they'll say, like, when something is itching or something is hurting, or they want to say oops or something, they say, oi, oi, oi. Oh my God. So that's what that reminded me of. And that also reminded me of somebody who I deeply love, who is near and dear to and close to my heart. So that's very funny. I thought you was trying to be funny, which you probably were. So I just want to show you guys some love too, while I'm talking about something that's very serious to me, because I don't engage in trash and degenerative behavior. I think that's crazy. What's up? What's up, folks? Tap in with me if you. Hi, hi, Maggie May. How you doing? How y'all doing? I'm Bonafide Queen Bree. It's nice to see you guys here. It's nice to meet you. I don't really tend to go live very often. Okay, BISWASDAS 9825. Hello. How you guys doing? Got Kona Ice out here. They're very popular. Even in another state that I lived in, Kona Ice was there too. So yeah, they're pretty popular. I love your video. Thank you. We got some Latinos in the chat, huh? I'm a big fan. What's your name? Tell me your name. Your hair is beautiful. Thank you. And let me see. Childism is a bad thing. Childism, is that what we call it? I call it being childish because um Lord have mercy. Excuse me, y'all. Let me grab this real quick. Childism. I know ism means something. It's like a suffix. Whew. Okay. So childism. I just found that kind of interesting the way that you put that word together. But yeah, like there's childishness, and I can't stand it. It's annoying. Some childishness and certain things that I feel is immature or childish. It is annoying. But when it comes to being childlike, that's different. Where you are paying attention to and addressing your inner child healing, but then also with the inner child healing, or which is a lifelong thing. Just going out and playing and doing the things that make you happy. Like me, I like amusement parks. Um, I like all kind of things. It's still really fun to me. Like I like to see the people go skateboarding and things skating, ice skating, rock climbing, going go kart riding, but not like the low, not the slow speeds, but like the at high fast speeds. What else? I said amusement parks, water parks, things like that. Doing the things that make your inner kid happy or your inner child happy um, is what I like. So being childlike. Also, what the good word speaks of being childlike, like childlike in your spirit, like what I was saying in one of a previous video that I made, Iwapile, which is it talks about the gentle spirit in the Yoruba or the Ifa teachings, spiritual teachings. So you know being childlike is you could be childlike in so many different ways. It is referring to the gentleness, the kindness, the wonderment of the unknown, the what do you call it, the using your imagination, right? The innocence of a child. So being childlike in that way. So that's the only reason why I wanted to stop and I wanted to talk about that word with a child in it. There's a difference between being childish, which is extremely annoying, and it's a liability, versus being childlike. So sometimes we should be childlike in certain ways when certain situations allows for it. I ain't gonna say calls for it, but allows for it. You know what I mean? Um, wow. So with the whole young Miami thing, it's just trash, because I mean I could say a whole lot about that. I could have just really started this live and just started talking about that, because there's so much that my mind wants to say that it's just ridiculous. And I don't I just want to share with you guys that as much as I like to, get my word out there and express myself, I'm not long winded. I try not to be too long winded. I I don't want to make this upload this video too long. But obviously, a young Miami chick is not the type of chick that I would want around my daughter. You know, I wouldn't even want her around my, my nephews or my godson. And people who are a liability and their behavior is being glorified, and it's being commercialized, if you will. It's being advertised, and people, they will share it and they will talk about it as if it's something to be proud of. And I'm just like, how? But then when I try to figure out, the difference between myself and these people who think this way, I'm like, a lot of us share a lot of the same upbringing, similar upbringing, so we can understand. So the empathic part of myself wants to say, okay, yeah, Queen Bree, because they don't think like me, because we're not, our minds are not operating the same way. A lot of people are on substances. They're in complete survival mode and in desperation. It's one thing to be in survival mode, but when you desperate, it's like, what won't you do, right? And then on top of that, people are their culture, because it's not my culture. Their culture, it praises them for their degenerative lifestyles and behaviors. So of course they're going to give more of that because they're being rewarded for that. But I think that it's absolutely insane and it's crazy. But I think that it's an oxymoron to one's freedom and to one's happiness to tell people and to broadcast and sell to a community of people that look like you and a culture of people that look like you, and tell them to boost and to steal and to take from people, when it's like a career criminal. You would definitely you can do that, but a career criminal, you only can do things for so long before you get caught. And if you don't get caught by the man, as they call him, like, you're gonna have to give an account one day, sooner one day or another. And I believe in karma, and it's one thing to make mistakes or to be in, total survival mode where you're doing things and you're taking because you need to. Like, for example, someone goes in a grocery store and they go they go in there and they start walking around and they start eating. They start opening up stuff and they start eating because they're hungry, right? But for someone to make a record and sound so uneducated and unintelligent, and talking about, oh, where are these people at and these people at, I'm just like, bro, why? I stopped and I said, there are a bunch of people who are unintelligent, who are degenerates and super dumbfounded, who get to be in front of mics, who get mics to express their degenerate lifestyle, their unintelligent minds, right? These a lot of these people, they're not talking about a damn thing, right? And then they got the babies talking about it, and the babies out here, reciting this sorry ass song, this self-degrading song. And then people will make excuses like, well, we're talking about going to certain corporations that are that are high value, or are rich, these corporations, these people who are rich. And, oh well, we're making music about our experiences. I know, honestly, a lot of us, we don't even want to know about y'all experiences, because what y'all are doing is y'all are glamorizing y'all experiences, and it's like, it's not that we don't know, the culture doesn't know already about y'all experiences. And then it's just like, well, if these people are talking about their story and their experiences, then we should be able to do it too. What people should be talking about is what they learn from their struggles and their experiences of their criminal lifestyle, right? Not making songs talking about this is what it should be, and glamorizing it and telling the young folks that this is what they should do. Because what's going to happen is you got YNs out here who are practicing carrying firearms and going into these people's homes and their businesses, and they're robbing them, committing robbery, and they're stealing from them, and they're glamorizing that, making it seem like that it's okay and that it's all good. But nobody is telling them the risk, because the thing is they'll tell them to go and to commit these crimes with a weapon. And if you have a firearm and they're going in these businesses and they're doing it with a weapon, thinking that um, thinking that it's going to, just scare someone, not going in there, because a lot of times the prefrontal cortex is not even fully developed, so they just kind of like dumbfounded. Or I only say dumbfounded because of what they're doing. I just figure that it's dumb, but they're at a very impressionable age, so their prefrontal cortex is not even fully developed. Their good reasoning part of their brain is not even fully developed, so they're very impressionable. You could just kind of tell them whatever, and then they'll just be like, oh, just do these few things, I can do this, and then it's all good, I get it done, and it's all good. No, if you're going to be promoting a very high risk lifestyle, just like I said in the video of when I was talking about Sukiana, if people are going to tell people, they're going to glamorize degenerative ways or risky lifestyles, I think that people should always include in that what the risks are. Because when these youngsters go in these businesses or wherever they're going, and they thinking that they just gonna go and take people's stuff, well, I think that somebody should remind you, if you come across this video, or remind them that you better believe that if they are a business owner, they're probably, and they are they're in their home or they're in a business, they probably have a weapon too. And the cold part about that is it's really sad to know that a lot of these young folks that do these things, they're not really trained, right? They don't really have the skills to defend themselves in a situation of a firefight. But you go in these businesses, or they go in these places, and they figure, well, I can just go ahead and I can just take what I want. She's talking about boosting and stealing. Well, that's a part of it too, right? Oh, we're not talking about that. Nobody's talking about that. So they run the risk of going in these places, and they have weapons or whatever, and you best believe that somebody's going to have their own, and they're going to defend themselves. So there are people who are taking losses, and they're losing, going in there trying to take, right? And then we talk about the Asian guy who killed the young brother. And again, it's just stuff that they already have these preconceived thoughts and notions and pictures, about us and our children. And this broad, she's really not talking about shit, but teaching people how to be untrustworthy, how to be unproductive members and citizens of society, and how to take from people, instead of, obviously somebody didn't teach her a productive, honest way to come up in the world. And we all know that, some people, they have to rob Peter to pay Paul. They've had to rob Peter to pay Paul to come up in the world. But then, people make mistakes, or they have done these things and done other things, and they're not necessarily proud of it, and they may talk about it, but then they'll they come out of that, and they're able to lead a honest life, and then they're able to tell the youngsters and tell people their experiences and what not to do. And a part of that story is telling them, like, yo, they had to go and they had to sit down, they had to go do time or whatever. People glamorizing all of these things is absolutely ridiculous. Glamorizing a criminal lifestyle. And really, because somebody didn't properly teach her, or, well, the only thing that makes sense to me is because they really don't know any better. But I can't vibe with any of it at all, especially not Trick Daddy. Like, I don't know how old this I don't know how old this young Miami chick is. I really don't care. Just only, curious about it right now because I know that there is a age difference between her and Trick Daddy, and Trick Daddy has lived long enough to know that she's dead wrong, that she's absolutely wrong, right? Encouraging that bullshit to the culture. And then all of that, it just leads to more criminal lifestyles and then more losses because our kids are taking major losses in this time, right? And then the cold part about it is these bras and whether it's you know the YNs or these lost broads, they make us look real bad, you know, as if we're all in that way. It's ridiculous. And it's like you don't see yourself as of high value because all you have to offer is your meat suit. It's just absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. So I only laugh because I just can't believe some of the things that I see. People glamorize things and certain lifestyles, but their dignity is not intact. They don't have any integrity. And then they'll turn around and they'll try to make someone feel bad because they don't have this big bag that they have. But while they are robbing Peter to pay Paul and they in here scamming and boosting and telling our babies to do all of these criminal things and all of this stupid shit, they're looking over their shoulders, right? And they really can't sleep. They really can't sleep good at night. And then, with all of that, it's just so much that comes with that certain type of lifestyle, right? Because what won't one do for money, right? They do some of the most nastiest, despicable, the most trifling shit. And then people don't talk about that. The reason why a lot of these people be on drugs, they be popping pills, and they be, they on alcohol and certain substances and things, is because we know that they, in their minds, they can't even live with themselves for real. They could not live in a sober state of mind. They'll probably blow their damn brains out. And even when they are inebriated or intoxicated or under the influence, they a lot of times those same things, those same thoughts ruminate in their mind. And even then, and then sometimes they develop the liquid courage or they develop the courage in different ways to go ahead and go through with it. So, people want to try to shit on people because they feel like, they don't have this big bag that she has. The broad has done some of the most despicable shit, right? And people, they'll act like, oh, she ain't do that, but you got that bag and you look good and you can do, you have the ability to do these things to go get another bag, and then we all eat, so it's all good. And it's like, no, it's not, because what it is creating more generational curses and replicas of these trifling ass broads. So now I'm getting a little annoyed because I sit back and think about how someone will come across this video, like say it was Trick Daddy, right? Or if it was this broad, Young Miami, these trifling ass broads, right? These degenerative ass broads and these degenerative ass YNs, right? Like, we want to love our people, but sometimes you can't get through to them because you can't get through that thick ass skull because they're not receptive. So sometimes a lot of us be talking till we blue in the face, and it's like, if they're not willing or open or receptive to receiving the message, then it's like, what's the point, right? But then you hope that people who are kindred souls or like-minded will come across, and it's just like, oh, I'm not the only one. Some people actually got some damn common sense, or they was raised on a decent foundation. Um, but they'll come across this video. Some people will come across this video, and then they'll be like, "Oh, shut the hell up!" Because what you talking about? They be like, "Oh, some people, they don't have this or they don't have that. Oh, are you mad or you're jealous? You ain't getting to the bag and da 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 da." I don't have to look over my shoulder. I sleep pretty good at night. There's certain things that it's unacceptable. And then on top of that, the cold part about it is, oh my God, the stupidest shit is that there are people who they call themselves gangsters, or they call themselves this and call themselves that, and they make themselves seem like they're so on, have this certain street code, right? And it's like, well, if you had a certain code and you was moving in a certain type of way, wouldn't you tell them to be careful what they share and to move in silence? And if you're going to be moving a certain type of way and doing certain type of things, that you only want to keep it amongst a certain type of people, right? What I would tell one to remember not to let the left hand know what the right hand doing, right? But when you are desperate and when you are dumbfounded up top and you don't have high levels of an intellectual faculty and capabilities, you would make a song about, oh yeah, because when I was growing up and in our hood and the way we grew up, and all I have to offer the kids in the community is, yeah, spin that. And it's like, oh yeah, y'all will be bumping that shit because all of y'all have the same level of dumbass consciousness that is like merely none, right? Ain't really functioning at no high level, a high capacity of consciousness, and then people be like, well, you're empathic, so you should be more compassionate, and you're an empath, and da, 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 da. I think that the problem is, and my problem is that I think we're just fucking tired, yo. I think a lot of us is just tired of like even thinking about it and talking about it. When I think about it, because I'm tracking and I'm aware and noticing how my energy is changing, and just thinking about it and really straining my brain trying to make certain points, because I think that it's ridiculous, people who's claiming to be role models, and then the people saying, oh, let her do this because y'all need to raise y'all kids and stop trying to hold them accountable, and then raise y'all kids and things. And I'm just like, that's such a fucking cop out, bro. And y'all making excuses for these young broads, and it make me question, are these men, right? Because a lot of times it's the brothers that's saying it. Are these brothers, are they saying these things because they low key trying to make excuses for them because they're going to the parties, and the same parties are where they're at? Everybody's going to the same party. Everybody's enjoying the same, the same, I don't know, party favors. And, if I'm being absolutely honest, as a very mature woman, 9 times out of 10, that's what it is. The same thing that I said about Trick Daddy. You getting all on the internet, putting your camera on, and you in a car, you so irritated and angry and mad about it. You gotta make a video in your car, and oh, you just going off, flying off the handle and going off at the mouth, being totally nasty and disrespectful, talking about these old bitchs or whatever. Who raised you, or who didn't raise you, for real? Like, people are trash, and it sucks, because when you have peace, and when you're trying to continue to cultivate peace, and when you're trying to maintain that peace, and you're trying to continue to raise your level of intelligence and consciousness, and to make sure that you are a productive member of society, that you're a decent person, and that you're good to people. And then, as a first priority, and your focus is to really try to be able to be of servitude to your community, and to make sure that you are doing your part. But then the main goal is like peace, because when you have peace, then everything runs smoothly, and it's easier to make decisions and to make shit happen. But then you have people who get online, and it's like they freaking just totally disgraceful, berating some of the most respected people in our communities, and then calling them all out their name. And it's like, bro, you have to wonder, does Trick Daddy have a mom? Does Trick Daddy have a mama? Does Trick Daddy have daughters? Does Trick Daddy have aunties and sibling or sisters? Like, who are the women in your family? Do the women, and I'm not being disrespectful, I'm just asking a question. Does the women in his family are they a representation of Young Miami? That's all I'm asking. And a lot of times it is, but you know what? It's unfortunate, because a lot of people in our communities, they actually resonate with that lifestyle of Trick Daddy and Young Miami. And sometimes we just have to love them from afar. But at the same time, I'm the type of person that, yeah, I do want to express, and I do want to, call bullshit where I see fit, because what happens is these babies, they become influenced, and then they become that. It's bullshit. It really is. I'm surprised people even tuned in and people tapped in, because I know a lot of people out here celebrating the independence of some people who committed the most atrocious crimes in the history of this corporation called America. You know, somebody gonna tell me this is not it's not a corporation. Well, what is it then? So One thing that I am proud of is that our community we are making a lot of progress in the community where we are encouraging more positive representations and positive messages and music and things. Like I said, sometimes it's not what you do, it's how you do it. I understand if people are in, survival mode, or sometimes, they have to get it how they get it. People, they try to make the excuse of, well, they're taking from people who are not us or whatever. And yeah, but come on, man, we got to be better than that. Seriously, we're better than that. You know, um, I just I don't rock with that. Anything that's going to be a liability, anything that's going to get somebody hemmed up, anything that's going to get somebody in trouble. Like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not going to. Why encourage fuckery and stupidity? Especially when we're so much better than that. I know damn well that we're more intelligent than that. And some people be like, you're giving them too much credit. Some of our people are not that intelligent. But if they talk about these different codes and ways of being or whatever, like, shouldn't somebody check they homegirl, right? Shouldn't somebody put her up on Game Out of Love and be like, hold on, that's not it, right? Like, don't be telling why you telling the children to do that? And then Trick Daddy ugly ass had the audacity to say that that she was doing something positive. What is positive about somebody encouraging people in the community to rob, jack, and steal? It's like there's no sense of shame anymore. There's no sense of urgency of or valuing one's dignity, right? Like there was a time when people used their mental faculties and their prefrontal cortex was working in its highest capacity because they weren't so inebriated and they weren't so full of substances, right? They weren't so drunk and full of drugs, and their mental capacity was really working and it was functioning. So they would say, well, maybe I need to, pump the brakes, and maybe I shouldn't, make that type of music or song, or maybe I shouldn't do this, or maybe I shouldn't reveal to the world what someone did to me behind closed doors. And I just, oh my God, I can't believe some of the shit that I hear and that I see. And I'm just like, you don't have any sense of value and pride about yourself. And this broad is she's okay with just completely degrading herself. And then you have to wonder what happened to these girls. And that's just, and in all honesty, y'all, that's just the empath within Queen Bree is the reason why I'm saying that. Because in my life experience and my experiences, especially with meeting people and talking to people and things, I always go back to just the empathic part of me after everything's said and done. And that's where that thought came from. Well, I wonder what happened to them. What is their story? Because everybody have a story, right? What is their story? What happened to them? What happened to this young Miami chick? Who damaged her so bad, and who is continuously damaging her so bad that she thinks that what she's doing is of high value, or that is of a beautiful or great representation and of honor? Well, I guess that, fast forward when people say I turn my lemons into lemonades, or I turn my pain into champagne and things. This culture give people the platform to express themselves in the most degenerative type of ways, like the degenerates of the culture, right? But how come we can't glorify and glamorize more of, the sisters in the community who talks about making love and beautiful sexual experiences and sacred sex, and the beautiful the high quality, the high sacred experience of a sexual nature, versus the debauchery and the real ratchet and the unclean and the nasty, promiscuous type of sexual music, and just all of the wild crazy shit that should not be publicized and be easy for virgin ears and eyes to access, right? Or what about the brothers who they're like, what do you call it, like indie indie rap, right? Or those who rap conscious music, or high conscious type of music. I vibe with that. That's the type that I like. It's the type that I like to make, right? It's just higher consciousness of a type of art. But it seems as like those people, they don't get the most attention, or they don't get the most reactions, and they don't get the most people patronizing them, and that's why we don't get more of that art. Everybody, especially as an adult, should be held accountable and are responsible for the ways that they express themselves. I think that there is nothing that is more filthy, nasty, or ugly than someone sharing their sexual nature in such a tasteless, classless way, right? And then when it comes to the YNs, or the brothers that's talking about all of this, you know, uh, crimes against each other and deleting and eliminating each other. It's like, come on, man. When are everybody gonna really pump the brakes and stop and really value themselves and look at themselves as something greater than their environment? It's like people don't even want to try anymore, right? They feel the pressure. They don't know how to feel the pressure. Like, people sit there and talk about the ancestors, and it's like, you can't even take you can't take the war, the battle. You can't take, a lot of people can't even take a punch to the face if they were put in that position. They can't take the pressure. You know what I mean? They have the audacity to talk about people who used to get shit done in our communities, and our leaders, as if they're not the reasons why we're here today and actually have the liberties that we have till this day. You know, they can't stand the pressure. That's one of the reasons why people have all of these addictions, all of these substance abuse issues, and just totally crashing out. I mean, it's hard enough that people have to deal with the racism, and people who like to um, make it seem like the president of this country is their savior, so they feel like they could just come out their face, in a very racist way, and as if they won't get punched in the mouth. Like, that is bad enough that people have to deal with that, and then have to deal with everything that comes with that. A lot of us don't have to deal with that on a daily basis, but a lot of us do. So, as human beings, we experience, life, the highs and lows, the ebb and the flow. But when it's up, and it's nice and it's beautiful. But the problem with our community, and I mean humanity, period, unless people are aware and are doing the work, we don't know how to be with ourselves when we don't feel good, and when things are not up, right? When we're not feeling good. And then when the pressure is on, people are not, these same people that talk the most and they run their mouth, they don't even know what to do when the pressure is on. What they do, they go get blunted, they go they go drink, they become inebriated. And then again, some people, the choices that they have made haunt them so bad that they can't live in sobriety. They can't live in a sober state, so they can't function without their vices of choice. And then the curse in that, and the cold part about that, is those same vices that they use to medicate and to make them feel better. It literally suppresses the prefrontal cortex, and I keep saying that. And it suppresses the good learning and the good reasoning parts of the brain. So then they end up further making more poor choices. But hell, what do I know? That's just Queen Bree. She just she online, and she just talking. She just talking, you know. What do Queen Bree know? Because Queen Bree, she's not a billionaire. She ain't got the big bag. Everybody want, they want what they can't have. So go take that and then spend that, right? That shit is trash, man. Get that shit out of here. What we should do is put some people who actually got some damn common sense and their intellectual faculties are working, and some people who can speak power into our people, and also bring the people the information and to teach the people the things that they need to know, so that not only they can liberate themselves, and then once they liberate themselves, they can liberate their family and then their community. Those are the people that we should give a damn mic and a camera to. All these other I almost said something. I forgot I was recording. So can the degenerates of society just take a year off? Just take a year off and then let us go ahead and do what we do, and then everything's gonna be all right. Can we do that? Can all of the degenerates just agree to just shut the hell up for a whole year? Or maybe I should. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should just take a whole fucking year off and just don't say shit. Oh man, sometimes you gotta laugh to keep from crying. You know, there's a lot of continuous bad things that's happening. We're either doing it to ourselves or people are doing it to us, and sometimes you have to teach people how to treat you, and sometimes people learn how to treat you based off of how they see you treat yourself, handle yourself, carry yourself, and how you organize your life and how you function in your day-to-day life. If people look at you and see you like you don't care about, like you don't give a damn about yourself, and you just like, yo, I don't give a damn about you and your things in your household either. I'm just gonna go in there. I'm gonna take your stuff or whatever. It's like, why would you want to give somebody the upper hand on you like that? And then further disintegrating and further breaking down the values of the community, and then people, they don't respect that, so they kind of treat us the same way that we treat ourselves. It's a cold-blooded thing because a lot of people, they don't recognize that. They don't want to recognize that. Anyways, I gotta make some calls. I just wanted to get on here and I wanted to express, the pigeons out here are real disrespectful. They're just like a little bit too bold, and some people that, Lord have mercy. The pigeons out here are very disrespectful, kind of like some of the people who don't have a certain level of intelligence, and their mental faculties are not working quite well. You know, I just wanted to get on here and I wanted to share my thoughts and opinions on Young Miami and those who are like them, who really think that their way of life is really where it's at, and like it's really popping. That shit ain't cute. That shit is straight trash. It really is. And like, stay the hell away from my kid. Please stop putting out your bullshit so that my kid and our babies can view that shit and think that it's okay. Teaching a people to be dumbfounded and be stupid and to get in trouble and do criminal shit is absolutely wrong. And as for that Trick Daddy character, you absolutely out of pocket, man. You out of pocket. There's a way to express your opinion, to state your opinion about how you feel about somebody without being absolutely despicable, disgusting, disrespectful, and berating of that person, especially of a woman of such high esteem. If you're gonna talk about, call people out their name and call them female dogs and things, why don't you aim that energy and direct that energy towards the right people. These nasty broads who don't have no self-esteem, they don't have no self-confidence, they don't see themselves as valuable. They don't think highly of themselves, and they're not even trying, right? Everything is a take, take, take. Everybody wants, quick. They want quick dopamine, or they want quick satisfaction. They want the quick end product. They want to be quickly gratified, right? I can't believe some of the things that I see and some of the things that I hear. I think that there's some things that should some people their phones and their mics should be cut off. Some people's devices should be taken away from them. But anyways, as I said, I just wanted to express how I felt about that young Miami broad character. And Trick Daddy is somebody who has been in the game for a very long time. Shame on you, Trick Daddy. You've been in the game for I don't know how long, and coming out your skin and coming out your face and jumping out your skin, being absolutely disrespectful. I can't help but wonder what are you on for real, right? And then you from the South too. Come on, man. Who's raising anybody anymore? Anyways, I appreciate you guys. Childism, prejudice, and discrimination against children. Childism is much worse than racism and sexism and childism. Okay, where did that come from? Because I'm not talking about no childism. Child discrimination. Discriminating anyone for being under 18. Where'd that come from? People just throwing shit on the video or what? Say how it was. Can someone tell me? Man discriminating against women is sexism. When an adult discriminates against children, it's childism. So, where did that come from? Anyways, okay, folks. Maybe I'll do another live, and then we can talk about what you guys want to talk about. I appreciate you guys tapping in with me. Again, you guys be safe out here if you guys are celebrating this holiday. You're gonna be with your family and everything. Obviously, it's not fun if everybody is not safe. So please just keep that in mind. Stay safe and stay well and stay bona fide.